today. It'll be a short stream, short video, so it shouldn't be too hard. Our other ones have been really long, but I got stuff to do today, so let's get something done. I always think it's like better to do a little bit. Otherwise, as soon as I start losing a habit, like it's all over. So I want to keep this Erlang thing going, even if it's slow on some days. If you're coming in for the first time now, you should go to my YouTube channel. There's an Erlang playlist. You can kind of start from the very beginning. There must be like 9 videos or so already, so we're kind of a bit of the ways through. And Erlang is a language made in 1986 by Ericsson, a phone company, to do a lot of concurrent parallel processing and super reliable. WhatsApp uses it, Discord uses it. I forget the other companies that use it, but a whole bunch of companies use it. It's sort of like the silent, um, like toolkit that a lot of companies use, but you don't really hear too much about it. Elixir is built on top of it. My favorite language at the moment. So, as in like it's built on top of Beam, which is the virtual machine that runs Erlang. So, or whatever, you get it. So let's get started right away because I don't want to spend too much time on other things today. So let's see what section we're on here. We're reading from the learnusomeerlang.com book, Learn Use Some Erlang for Great Good, I think it's called, or for good. Um, and it is freely available online. We're up to a short visit to common data structures as a section. So let's see what that is. Won't be too long, promised. So that's good because I want it to be short today. um, what the hell? So I clicked on Stream Elements. I guess it's already incorporated itself in Twitch somehow. That's interesting. Hi, Poisnada. Po is nada. How are you? Chances are you now understand the functional subset of Erlang pretty well and could read many programs without a problem. However, I could bet it's still a bit hard to think about how to build a real useful program, even though the last chapter was about solving problems in a functional manner. I'm saying this because it's how I felt like at about that point in my learning. But if you're doing better, congratulations. Anyway, the point I'm coming to is that we've seen a bunch of things, most basic data types, the shell, how to write modules and functions with recursion, different ways to compile, control the flow of the program, handle exceptions, abstract away some common operations, etc. We've also seen how to store data with tuples, lists, and incomplete implementation of a binary search tree. Wow, we've done a lot. What we haven't seen is the other data structures provided to the programmer in the Erlang standard library. Hi Findus, how are you? How are you? Good to see you. I guess I have energy today. This week has been terrible, but it's the end of the week. Guys, we've made it. We've reached another Friday. If you have a job, congratulations. If you're going to school, congratulations. We can relax. In addition, my partner's gone this weekend, so who knows what the hell I'll be up to. I need to start my Ubuntu. There you go. You're not doing the what's this new operating system that's like Arch based? Come on. It's this new one that like looks all crazy. Isn't it like Friday in Copenhagen so cool? God damn it, I can't find out what it is. Ah, no, that's not it. It's like I keep thinking like oh my god or Omegle or something. but I won't I won't figure it out. Anyway, let's stay on target, guys. Yes, Omarchi. Oh God. I am so afraid of this distribution. There's something so, like, to me, insidious and nefarious with this, like, logo here. Is it just me? Is it literally just me that feels that way? Anyway, let's stay away for now. Records. What are you gonna do at Copenhagen this weekend? I'm gonna stick with my NixOS, even though there's a lot of drama going on in the community. I don't know if you guys followed, but like, what happened? The steering committee sort of like are leaving. They have like some guy who donated a bunch of money, the Oculus guy, and then someone in the team was basically working for that guy's company on Dural or something without like saying anything. Um, and so the community got upset that it felt like a conflict of interest, and then they were sponsoring stuff and like just like is a mess. Anyway, yeah, I'm joyful today. We've made it to Friday, guys. We're gonna survive. We can charge up this weekend. Records are, first of all, a hack. Okay, this is perfect. Just like an elixir, it's a hack. Records. They are more or less an afterthought to the language and can have their share of inconveniences. I'll cover that later. They're still pretty useful whenever you have a small data structure where you want to access the attributes by name directly. As such, Erlang records are a lot like structs in C, if you know C. They are declared as module attributes in the following manner. Let me bring up my where's my terminal? Here we go. So let's make a new file and we'll call it like, I don't know, records. So that means we have to make module records, and we'll do like, is it, yeah, compile, export all, and then we'll learn how to do this record thing. So what are they saying? We have a record that will, what is it, a robot record, and then we give it kind of a struct. Name type equals industrial hobbies. So these are all probably keywords, right? I'm guessing that's right. All right, so here we have a record representing robots with 4 fields. Okay, so this is a robot record and it has 4 fields. Yeah, I'm not going to switch to Omarchi. I'm going to stick with Nix. I wonder what it would take for me to switch off of Nix and to a non-Nix like subflavor like Lix. I don't know. We have 4 fields: name, type, hobbies, and details. Name, type, hobbies, and details. There is also a default value for type and details, industrial, and empty array, respectively. Here's how to declare a record in the module records. So we make a function first robot, and it returns robot. I think the hash it basically says that it's a struct or a record. And then now we're going to fill out these fields. Name equals Mechatron. All right, that's nice. A type equals handmade, and handmade's lowercase, so it's an atom. Remember that. Details equals, and then we have like an array. Moved by a small man inside. All right. So here is a function. Da, 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 da. Let me look up how I can split Wes term into two. Let's see. Wes term. Split horizontal, Control Shift Alt percentage. Do I want to split vertical or horizontal? Split vertical is this way. I think I want vertical. Control Shift Alt. Control Shift Alt. No, that didn't do anything. Control Shift Alt. Come on. Oh, this one. Control Shift Alt and then the number 2. There we go. Oh shit, that's really small though. All right, Control Shift Alt. There we go. Is that better? Because sometimes we don't need a whole lot of like space to do things. So now what I was gonna do was compile it. How do you compile stuff, right? Records, that compiles it. The warning we can ignore. And then we run records colon first robot dot. And then we get back this thing. It looks like a tuple and it says robot and then extra stuff, right? What's interesting is it's not like there's a tuple. It's not like a tuple of tuples. It's just a tuple. It's just robot as the first item and then everything else. We don't even know what the name is, right? So I'm kind of curious. There's probably some way. I wonder if we can get to the name. I'm sure they're going to show us this. Whoops, here comes the hack. Erlang records are just syntactic sugar on top of tuples. Fortunately, there's a way to make it better. The Erlang shell has a command rr module that lets you load record definitions from a module. So we type rr records and we get back robots because I guess because it only has one record so far. So it loaded that. Now I do. Oh, if I rerun this. Oh, look at that. Now after I run RR records, I wish I knew what RR meant. I forget how to. I don't know how any of that works. Okay, so we have this record that says it's a robot record, and then here's the key value, key value, key value, key value, and hobbies is undefined. There. This makes it much easier to work with records that way. You'll notice that in first robot, we had not defined the hobbies field and it had no default value in its declaration. Erlang by default, this is an error by default. It should be by default. Sets the value to undefined for you. To see the behavior of the defaults we set in the robot definition, let's compile the following function. So we're going to make a new function, car factory, that returns a robot with a name, corp name. This is a variable though, so I don't see how this is going to compile. Oh, it takes in a parameter, corp name. That's why it compiles. Hobbies equals building cars. Now we recompile on the bottom here. And then we run. First robot doesn't change, but records car factory. And then I guess we have to pass it something. They say Jokeswagon, but I think that's way too corny. So I'll just call it Corny Corp. All right, so name equals Corny Corp. Type is industrial. Hobbies, building cars, details, blank. And it probably got industrial from this record default definition. And details is the empty array because we didn't tell it anything. So that makes sense. And we have an industrial robot that likes to spend time building cars. Note the function RR can take more than a module name. It can take a wildcard and also a list as a second argument to specify which records to load. There are a few other functions to deal with records in the shell. RD lets you define a record in a manner similar to the record used in our module. Let's not use that. You can use RF to unload all records, or RF name or RF names to get rid of specific definitions. That's similar to the F function that removes variables. You can use RL to print all record definitions in a way that you could copy and paste. Let's look at RL. Oh, look at that. That's kind of nice. It's basically like what we typed up here. RP, convert a tuple to a record. Writing records alone won't do much. We need a way to extract values from them. That's what I was talking about. There are basically two ways to do this. The first one is with a special dot syntax, assuming you have the record definition for robots loaded. So here we make a new robot. I don't understand. Oh, this is pattern matching, right? So we're giving it a variable here, and it's going to match that variable to this. So robot, that's pretty easy. Name equals, and we'll pass it a name. See, we have name up here. But, you know, another thing is that, like, I bet none of this, the order doesn't matter. Well, I don't know. What do you think? Let's try changing the order. Type equals, let's call it personal. We'll just kind of change it up. And name equals Crusher. Hobbies. It looks like it can be anything here, so we'll just call hobbies. None. No, we'll call it like crushing. Sleeping. That's its hobbies. And we have details. Did they put in details in here? No, they didn't put details. So we'll leave out details too. There we have our robot. So now, yeah, and it worked, right? So you can see that even though this was out of order, it took it. So we have Crusher now, and it prints it in the right order. So I'm guessing that implementation-wise, it's still a tuple that has an order, but when it generates the record, it probably like looks through the name value pairs and tries to match it with this definition value pair. That's why it comes out in the order that we see it here. All right, so now we want to actually access something in here. Crusher, robot, hobbies. So we have to say the name of the record. So module name, no, variable name, hash record name dot key. It's a little bit of typing. Ugh, not a pretty syntax. This is due to the nature of records as tuples. Because they're just some kind of compiler trick, you have to keep keywords around defining what record goes with what variable, hence the hash robot part of Crusher hash robot hobbies. It's sad, but there's no way out of it. Worse than that, nested records get pretty ugly. So if we have, what is this? A robot with details, and the details is another record. Then we have to like do this hash thing. All right, let's try to do that. So what did they do? They made details another robot. Let's try to type the same thing. So we have a foobot, and that is a records records. How do we make these things? Oh, we just typed hash robot. I guess because we used RR. Hash robot name equals foobot 2000. And then we'll make its details is another robot. Here, let's just do this first. Oops. This needs to be a tuple. There we go. So now we have a foobot. Now we can have a barbot, right? And then the barbot we'll just call Barbie. And its details actually points to foobot. Doesn't this work? Yeah, there we go. So now we have a robot, which is Barbie, and its details points to another robot. Now, normally, if we want to access Barbot's record, we do Barbot, and we want its name. I guess we do Barbot. Is it hash robot dot name? Yeah, that's how it works. Barbot hash robot dot name to get its name, Barbie. But now we want to access its details. So we can do details. Details is a robot. So now we treat this whole thing in parentheses, which now I guess it's a robot. So I probably have to do robot again dot name. Yeah. If I get rid of the robot, like it just doesn't work. This is a record, so I need to access it by the record name. All right, that is kind of ugly. And I bet if I get rid of the parentheses, it doesn't work. No, it works. So that's just like nice. It just maybe makes it easier to read if it has the parentheses, but and I'm guessing spaces are bad. No, spaces are okay. So white space is okay. Yeah, one record inside another record. This is due to the nature as tuples, and once we did this, we had to do nested robot. Yeah, this is exactly what we did. And yes, the parentheses are mandatory, but we've learned that they aren't because this works. Oh, here it goes. They said it's not necessary, so that's cool. To further show the dependence of records on tuples, see the following. Robot type. 3. What this outputs is which element of the underlying tuple it is. I see. So here we have the underlying tuple, and type is this is number 3, which is kind of interesting because to us it looks like number 2. It's, I guess I can't print robot, right? It doesn't make sense. I don't think that will work. Yeah. All right, one saving feature of records is the possibility to use them in function heads to pattern match and also in guards. Declare a new record as follows on top of the file and then add the functions under. So we're going to make a user record. Let's try to do this without looking. User. And then we're going to pass some parameters here. Probably I would give it like an ID. And then how do you give it default? Equals. In Elixir, this would be like a colon, which is like, I feel better. But ID should probably be defaulted to nothing. We'll just leave that. A name. A title. And we'll call it like plebe. And let's give it a salary. Let's give it 50K. All right. Record not used. Is that what it's saying? Unused. Otherwise, I think it's okay. All right. So name, group, age. Yeah, just the same. Now we're going to pass in the admin panel. Oh, it's basically it's going to find out whether the user is let's say they're a normal group in my situation. And now we're going to make a function called isAdmin. And they say do pattern matching, right? Let me do a guess on what that pattern matching would look like. User. And then we do group equals. Let's try to pattern match like this. And then we'll just say like IO format. Is it this? Yeah. isAdmin user group is equal to PN. Whoops. And we'll pass in group. This is the variable, and this should pattern match. I'm hoping this pattern matches to this variable. And then we can, let's see if we can, all right, let's give up on that. Compile records. And then we do user1 is equal to, I don't know if this will work. I might have to do user. User1 is Sam. Yeah, so maybe we have to do RR. How did that work? Did I have to do records user? No. How did RR work? RR records. I guess it just reads everything from there. Yeah, records and user. And now I should be able to do this. Yeah, there we go. So we have a user 1 now. And now let me try calling records. And what was the name of the function? Is admin. And then we're passing in user 1. There we go. Look, is admin user group equals normal, right? So obviously if case group of end, and then if group is if group is normal, then we do just a normal user. I think it's semicolon, right? And if it's admin, you're in. We might need like a default. Let's see if this compiles. Just a normal user, right? So that's where we had user name Sam, just a normal user. But if I do this and I do group equals admin, now it says you're in. And if I give it a group it doesn't understand, like foobar, it's like no idea who you are, right? So obviously we don't need strings. So if it's normal, it's false. If it's admin, it's true. And then if it's this, then we can do error because we have no idea who you are. Admin, true. Foobar, no idea who you are. And notice it says exception error. And then if we have normal, it says false. How's that? Now, obviously, the Erlang way is to use function clauses, right? I think in function clauses this becomes semicolon? Yeah, I think so. And so here we want to say if the group hard matches admin, then we say true. Otherwise, I mean, in a way, we don't really care. We just do this, right? Like, we don't care what you pass in. False. I think that's right. So if I pass in the normal user, it says false. But if I pass in a user that is, well, I guess group foobar, it's still false. And then group admin, it's true. So this is kind of like pattern matching here. Let's see how they did it. Here we go. Name is allowed. So they passed in name and they passed in the admin, and then here they pass in a name and they say not allowed. So, but ours is an is admin, so it's simpler. We just need to return true or false. Can extend user without a problem. Adult section. I see. So that's kind of nice. This one here. Let's do it ourselves. Basically, we want to know if I guess it's like, are they an adult? Is adult, right? So is adult, and it takes in a user. So we say user, and then we have their, oh, we don't have an age in our user. What do we have? Name, group, title, salary. So let's have is rich. This is a little bit more controversial, right? And then we do when salary is greater than, when are you rich? This was something I heard somebody ask like on TikTok, and it was like everyone answered based on your culture and your country what rich is. How much money do you have to make a year, let's say, before you consider yourself rich? And it was like, it was totally unhinged that the Americans answered like $10 million or something like that. Like, I don't remember. It was like at least a million or 10 million. And then like a lot of other countries were like 50,000 or something. And it's just like the levels are insanely different, you know? So I want to use a constant, and I've forgotten how to do that. So we're going to look back and we're going to make a constant macro. So here we go. We're going to go back on the top and we're going to say D, and we say salary is an atom. So we call it like salary cutoff. And then we give it a value. Let's say it is 100,000. It doesn't like it. What did I do wrong? Oh, this is literally macro. No? No, that's not how it works. What am I doing wrong here? Minus D macro. This is an atom. Maybe atoms can't. No, atoms can have this, right? Oh, it's wait. These are compile flags. There are a whole lot of compilation flags. Debug info, output direct, export all. So I see. So I need to add this to the compile flags. Does that mean it goes in here? All right. Bad documentation. Let us ask our friend ChatGPT. How do I add a um, macro value in Erlang source code? So, oh, was the D outside? Did I just read wrong? No, they have the D inside. So it should be D parentheses, not curly value. Oh, the macro name. So this looks like I could. Whoops. Salary cutoff like this. Bad attribute. What the fuck does that mean? Okay, it seems to like this better. So it's define salary cutoff. And then I say is rich. I go here and I say salary cutoff. True. Is rich. I don't care. Well, I guess I care that it's a user, right? So let's just say I care that it's a user because otherwise I could pass it something else and that doesn't make any sense. And I'll say false. Doesn't like salary cutoff is unbound. Salary cutoff. Salary cutoff. Isn't this the same? Salary cut off. Oh, you need a question mark. Okay. I guess we learned something. And now I should be able to say records is rich and I pass it in a user. And it's not rich because the default user has 50,000. But if I change this to be salary is equal to 100,001, they are rich. But if I make it 100,000, they aren't. So, and obviously we could put other things in here like name equals Bob. But if we try to, if we add a field that doesn't exist, like Gooby, it's going to say Gooby is not in record user. So that's interesting. And then the thing I did earlier was if I try passing in something else in here, like a string, it's going to say there's no function that matches because I made this a thing. But notice is admin, like I could pass is admin something that's not a user, and it'll just say false. But really, it's probably better if we do user because then we know we're using it wrong, right? If we just do curly brace with nothing in it, it means we're not pattern matching anything. It doesn't mean that it has to be an empty user. Okay, where are we? We're here somewhere. Are we here? Yeah, we just did this adult section. Got a little bit of it got a little racy. We learned how to do macros, I think, or something. Um, what this lets us see is how it is not necessary to match on all parts of the tuple or even know how many there are when writing the functions. Yeah, just like here, I didn't try to match on everything. I just need to know that it's a user. We can only match on the age or the group if that's what's needed and forget about all the rest of the structure. If we were to use a normal tuple, the function definition might need to look like blah, blah, blah. Yeah, okay. I think we get it. It just means that when you're doing pattern matching in a function for a record, you don't need to list out all the fields in the order. The following function illustrates how to update a record. Okay, so let's see. How do you update a record? We have Rob, which is a record, which is, I guess, a robot. And we're pulling out the details. And now we're making a new Robert robot here. That can't be right. Um, Elixir has a map update that you can use that's a lot easier. Robot field equals new value. Ah, yeah, it's using it here. Details. Perfect. Okay, I do see it. All right, let's do this. Let's write this. What is this trying to say? It's trying to basically change the details. It's adding this and it's using the old detail. It's just trying to add details of who it was repaired by. That's kind of weird, right? I don't feel like it's a very good example. Let's just call it add details. Doesn't that sound a little easier? We'll make a function add details. And it takes in a robot. They called it Rob. I wonder, I feel like it should be something like robot. Right? I mean, it seems like it should be something like this instead, because we want to say that the thing you're passing into the details function is a robot. And probably want to have like a string that is the new details. But since Erlang takes in capital letters for variables, we'll do this. And we do when is list new details, because lists are strings or lists, so we want it to be a string. So we say is list. Go look at strings earlier when we discussed that. And now we want to take Rob the robot, get his details field, and update it to be what is the syntax here? I don't really know how to say this. Because in Elixir, you would say the struct name now I can't remember even how I would do this. It's a map. I think it's like this. So if I try to do something similar, I'm guessing it would look a little bit like I can't remember the syntax. Let's go look again. All right, so we kind of were close. Do we have to do this in 2 steps? We get the details out. Old details. I don't like this. We get the details out, so we say Rob robot dot details, right? That's how we get that. And then now we're making the new robot. New robot equals the old robot. The old robot. And then we say we want the details key. So now we make it a list. Here we put in new details. That's the variable we passed in. And pipe details. So it's saying add it to details. I really don't like this because it feels like I don't understand what's going on. Let's see what this does. We compiled. Now we call records colon add details. We pass it in a robot. So we do robot. And what does robot have? A name. Call it Sammy. And the robot also has details. And we give it a list. And we say created October 3rd, 2025 as a detail. We close that. Pass add details. Oh, add details needs a second parameter, that is the new details. We want to say something like repaired as a new detail. And it returns a new robot that is Sammy, the same stuff, but it adds repaired to the existing details. Let's try to understand what's going on though, because this syntax, this is a list and it's adding to the list. Like that would make it sound like if I had a, oh, wait. This is just a normal heads and tails thing. This is like 3 followed by, 1, 2, 3, and it would add 3 to the front, right? 3, 1, 2, 3. So we're adding a string here to an existing string that would add that. Oh, this has to be an existing string. That would do foo and bar. And details is a list already. New details is a string. So it's just going to add this to the list of strings. Oh. Guys, there's nothing to this. I just made it a big deal for no reason. Yeah, I'm so sorry. That is so dumb of me, Avanesh. Like, you're right. I just saw the syntax and I was like, what is this? But yeah, this is just deconstruction. So the same way we can do something like heads, tails, or rest. And we can give it 1, 2, 3, and it would match, right? Heads is now 1, and rest is 2 and 3. So we're just constructing it, but I just, strings are lists. So this is putting a string into a list of strings. Okay, a list of lists. My bad. So there's really nothing, there's no magic going here. Like when it said, I thought it said something like magic, but there is no magic here. Oh well. Here it is. The syntax to update records is a bit special here. That's why I thought there was something special, but it's not really. It's just that it looks like we're updating the record in place. Robot field equals new value, but it's all compiled trickery. It's this part here. Details equals this. So it looks like we're changing something, but it's just constructing a new robot that has different details. One last, but it's a trickery to call the underlying Erlang set element 3 function. Yeah, because it figures out what element number it is and then calls it. Set element, which probably takes, the index and the new value and the key. One last thing about records, because they're pretty useful to code and code duplication is annoying, Erlang programmers frequently share records across modules with the help of header files. Uh-oh, we're back to C land with header files. Erlang header files are pretty similar to their C counterpart. Yikes. They're nothing but a snippet of code that gets added to the module as if it were written in the first place. Create a file named records.hrl. Oh no, HRL. And then we do include. Shit, we're in trouble. We are cooked. We have header files. So here we have a header file. I call it records.hrl. And then in the ERL, we do include record. Do I have to say HRL? Yeah, record.hrl. Oh, weird. Oh, it needs to be in quotes. Okay. Oh, yeah, and navigation knows how to take me there. Let's see if it knows how to get here. Yep, it does. Okay, cool. So language server for Erlang is good enough. Um, yeah, this is nothing. I don't think anything special here, right? Include then. This is an HR file. Record included, and this is included has some stuff. Oh, this is so confusing because of their name choices. Hooray, that's about it for records. They're ugly but useful. The good thing is records are so like useful that like even though the syntax for me seems a little weird, that just because we'll be writing it so much that it'll become obvious. Their syntax is not pretty. They're not much but a hack, but they're relatively important for maintainability of your code. You will often see open source software using the methods shown here of having a project-wide HRL file for records that are shared across all modules. It's kind of like a types export module, right? While I feel obligated to document this use, I strongly recommend that you keep all record definitions local within one module. If you want some other module to look at a record's innards, write functions to access its fields and keep its details as private as possible. This helps prevent name clashes, avoids problems when upgrading code, and generally improves the readability and maintainability of your code. All right. Well, we'll see how that goes. We've been at it for an hour. I think I'm going to stop here for the Erlang part. Um, so we'll do more next time. Key value stores. What is this going to be? It looks like a props list. This is basically a keyword list in Elixir, it looks like. So that's that. Arrays. It's basically saying don't use arrays. A set of sets. So there's a few of these. Softs. Directed graphs. Digraph util. Queues. First in, first out. End of the short visit. I think we're going to definitely look at keyword lists because, or the prop list or whatever the keys of, lists of keys or whatever they're calling it. Key value stores. I think that's important, so we should play around with that. The rest of the stuff I don't think we really have to look at. And then, so that'll be next time. And then it looks like after this section, we go into concurrency. Let's see, is there actually any code though? This looks like just like talking. We do have a function here, and then we spawn the function. So we'll make like, those are called like spawning processes. It'll be pretty simple. Looks like that's all we'll do here. And then we'll do some message receive sending and sending and receiving messages from processes. And then we'll have it. So it's a lot of reading before we get to that. So we'll see. I think that is a lot of reading, isn't it? I like when I'm learning something, I like to do stuff all the time. It's a little hard just to read. Anyway, that stops for that's the end of our stream for Erlang. I think we're gonna switch over and maybe I'll do work. Do I do work or do I stop the stream now? I'm thinking I'm gonna stop the stream and then I'll work just all alone by myself. Because yeah, I don't know. I feel a little bit lost with what I need to do right now. as in like it's one of those booting up, like gotta figure out what I gotta get started with for work. So I don't really want to like spend time looking confused the whole time, right? So thanks so much for hanging out with me. I appreciate it. It's always like makes it so much easier to do stuff when I'm streaming. I don't know how you guys ever feel about it. It's so much easier. So take care. Thanks a lot. See you later. Bye. Bye bye.